That phone in your pocket seems simple. But what if some of its parts traveled 500,000 miles before the phone was even built? That incredible journey is part of the planet's invisible economic nervous system. It's a system we all depend on, but almost no one understands. Welcome to the Deep Dive.
That shirt you're wearing, maybe the phone, right there in your pocket. Ever stop to think about its incredible journey across the globe? It's kind of mind-blowing.
It really is.
Today we're diving deep into the global supply chain. Think of it like the planet's economic nervous system. We want to unpack how it works, its complexities, its weak spots, and where it's heading, based on the sources you sent us.
And it's definitely not just a straight line from factory to you. It's this incredibly dynamic web, right? Connecting almost every product from the first idea to the moment you hold it. It's quite a marvel.
So how did we get here? This massive global system. A lot of it seems to come down to low-cost country sourcing.
That's a huge part of it, yeah. Basically, companies looking for cheaper places, lower labor costs, lower production costs, often overseas.
Which means a single product, like it's rarely made all in one spot anymore.
Almost never for complex goods. And that creates these really deep connections, these interdependencies between countries. Every decision about where to source something becomes, well, almost a geopolitical act, you know?
Interesting. So what's the upside then?
Well, the big promises are lower costs for consumers, access to innovation from different places, and obviously bigger markets for companies to sell into.
But there's always a catch, isn't there? The globalization bargain, as some sources call it.
Exactly. You get those benefits, but you also get longer waits, longer lead times. You get much more exposure to risk, things like political unrest, natural disasters, ethical issues too, like modern slavery concerns, economic shocks, and you definitely lose some control over the whole process.
Okay, maybe we can make this clear with a couple of examples. Let's simple, like a basic t-shirt. That journey really highlights the cost-driven side of things.
It absolutely does. So your cotton might start in the U.S., maybe using high-tech farming.
Okay.
Then it travels, maybe Indonesia for spinning, highly automated now. Then maybe Bangladesh for knitting and dyeing. And that dyeing process, it's responsible for something like 20% of global clean water pollution. Pretty significant. Right. And the final assembly. It often happens in countries with very low wages. One source actually said, our industry follows poverty. Think about the Rana Plaza collapse in Bangladesh.
Oh, yeah.
Stark, tragic example of the human cost tied into that relentless drive for lower prices. And even after you donate it, maybe 70, 80, even 90% of those clothes aren't resold where you donated them. They enter another global supply chain, maybe ending up in markets in Pakistan or India or just landfill.
Okay, so that's the cost focus.
Yeah.
What about something complex like a smartphone? That feels different.
Completely different. That's driven by value, by specialized capabilities. You're talking over 50 different materials, including rare earths and what they call conflict minerals, tin, tantalum, tungsten, cobalt. A huge chunk of the world's cobalt, maybe 60%, comes from the Democratic Republic of Congo. And tragically, child labor is often involved in mining it. And the network to build it. It's like a spider web. Over 200 specialized suppliers, easy. That little home button on an older iPhone, its components might travel 500,000 miles. China, Taiwan, Germany, and back to China before final assembly.
500,000 miles.
Incredible, isn't it?
If you're finding this deep dive valuable, take a moment to subscribe to make it make sense. New topics are broken down every week.
Final assembly happens in these giant factories like Foxconn's iPhone City in China. We're talking 350,000 workers assembling maybe 350 iPhones a minute by hand.
That scale is just hard to comprehend, and getting those parts there must be different too.
Absolutely. Unlike a t-shirt that can sit on a ship, smartphone components are often time-sensitive, high value. So they rely heavily on air freight, which is expensive and high stakes. And the afterlife. Big problem. Huge e-waste challenge. Only about 22% of it got formally recycled back in 2022.
So who actually manages all this complexity? It's not just the big brands.
No, definitely not. Beyond the manufacturers and retailers, you have these often invisible players, the facilitators. You've got freight forwarders. Think of them like travel agents for cargo. They manage shipping across boats, planes, trucks, handle all the paperwork like the bill of lading.
That's the key document, right? Proving ownership.
Exactly. It's a legal title, essentially. And then you have customs brokers. They're the experts navigating all the complex trade rules, classifying goods using harmonized system codes. That's the universal language for tariffs and compliance.
And some huge companies like Amazon or Apple, they've basically become logistics giants themselves.
They really have. They're building these massive platforms, offering supply chain as a service. We're living in what some call an era of exponential risk.
Exponential risk. Okay, what does that look like?
Well, you see this perfect storm scenario sometimes. Geopolitical things like the Houthi attacks in the Red Sea affecting the Suez Canal, happening at the same time as climate issues like the drought impacting the Panama Canal.
Right, that caused huge delays, didn't it?
Massive rerouting, weeks added to shipping time. Then you have public health crises. COVID was a huge one. It created that bullwhip effect. Small demand changes getting massively amplified up the chain. It really showed the fragility of the old just-in-time model, which hated holding extra inventory.
And cyber threats, too.
Oh, constantly. Ransomware attacks like the Colonial Pipeline one, or breaches through third parties like the Target hack that came via their HVAC provider. The risks are everywhere now.
So given all this risk and complexity, where are things heading? What's the future look like?
There's a definite shift happening. It's moving away from just pure cost-cutting towards building resilience. Companies are realizing that holding a bit more inventory, having backup suppliers, it's like an insurance premium against disruption. It costs more upfront, but might save you later.
Makes sense. What else? Technology must play a role.
Hugely. We're seeing supply chain 4.0. That means AI for better forecasting and optimizing routes, the Internet of Things, IoT for real-time tracking of goods, even monitoring their condition, and digital twins creating virtual copies of supply chains to test them under stress.
And geographically, is it still all about going global?
We're seeing more regionalization, actually, a move towards what you might call globally connected, multi-local chains. Look at Mexico. It recently overtook China as the biggest trading partner for the U.S. That's a significant shift.
Interesting. And what about the ethical side, the environmental side?
That's becoming much bigger, too, the conscientious supply chain. Companies are focusing more on ESG, environmental, social governance principles, tackling forced labor, aiming for a circular economy.
Circular economy, meaning?
Designing products from the start so they last longer, can be easily reused, repaired, and recycled. The potential's huge, maybe cutting material costs by 30%, emissions by 50%. It's not just nice to have anymore.
So really understanding this network, it just shows the incredibly complex dance behind almost everything we use daily.
It really does. It connects global events directly to your everyday life in ways you might not even realize.
So the big takeaways seem to be, resilience is the new efficiency. Visibility, knowing where your stuff is maybe more critical than the stuff itself. The supply chain is getting smarter, more autonomous, and sustainability. That's becoming a real competitive edge.
Absolutely.
So maybe the next time you pick up even a simple object, just pause for a second. Think about its hidden journey, the thousands of miles, the hundreds of hands, the complex web of decisions that brought it to you. What everyday product will you look at a bit differently now? What connections might you uncover?
Thanks for joining our deep dive. If this sparked an idea for a future topic, let us know in the comments below. You can continue exploring this subject by watching our next video right here, or subscribe to catch all our future breakdowns. We'll see you in the next one.